Hello, my name is Michelle Mailer, and I am an aromatherapist and a creator of proprietary blends of essential oils for health and wellness. I really love to research and create new blends to use for body, mind, and spirit balance. And today we're going to talk about how to make your own little therapy oil for applying to the back of your neck and your chest for brain balance, mental clarity, and helping with breathing and immunity. My business is Circle of Healing Essential Oils, and I really love to share information about how to apply oils, how to purchase them, how to store them. So I have a few oils with me today from several different companies that I like to use. You do not need to use just one brand. I just want to say that. The oils from plants are wonderful. Plants don't care about brands. They will heal you without having a certain name on them. So some of the oils I get are from local co-ops and health food stores and tea shops, and then some I get online that are a little bit harder to find. So I have a few sitting here on the table. You can feel free to zoom in on your own video and see what the brands are if you'd like. I don't represent any brands, but I do like to use pure essential oils that are not diluted in anything and that are not produced with chemical solvent extraction processes. And I talk about that more in some of my more in-depth classes. So the ones that we're going to be talking about today are really useful for our present time. Some tree oils that you can use for grounding, energetic protection, intuition, and breathing are in a blend that I make called Sasquatch Oil, which is right here. And this is a blend of sandalwood, frankincense, myrrh, and Copaiba balsam. And the way that you use it, you take the little, this is a little roll-on bottle. So you would take the roll-on and roll a little on your fingertips and then apply it to the back of the neck, right here on the top of your spine. And that will affect your brain for up to 6 hours, and it only takes about 5 minutes to work. It works on your third eye and your entire brain. So if you put some oils on right there in a carrier oil, the carrier oil will carry them in through your nervous system and work on your entire brain and help with things maybe like headaches as well. The other place that you can put the oil is on your fingertips and then onto your chest and your heart, and that helps with breathing issues. It supports lung strength and immunity and wellness, and it also can calm your heart and help to calm you when you smell it from there. So for people who don't really like smells and don't want to have a strong smell on them, you can just apply oils to the back of your neck and you're not really going to smell it that much, but it'll have a great effect for up to 6 hours at a time. The different oils in that blend I'll talk about a little bit. The frankincense oil is really amazing for supporting spirituality, connection, intuition, and processing grief and trauma. And it's also really good for anti-cancer oil. The frankincense has been studied in a lot of tests where cancer cells can't live in the presence of it. So, you know, whether or not you believe the entirety of that, it can definitely help support your body in healing itself. And the other oils, the sandalwood, myrrh, and Copaiba that are in this blend that I'm talking about, the Sasquatch oil, they help with intuition, and the Copaiba helps with energetic protection. It's been used for about 2,000 years by shamans in the same way that Palo Santo is used. And I prefer Copaiba oil to Palo Santo oil in my blends because it's very mellow smelling. And I don't think you have to have a strong smell to have a strong effect. We don't all want to smell strong just to have our health benefits. So if you're a person who likes strong smells, this may not be the blend for you, but if you prefer a subtle smell and a really powerful grounding and energetic protection and intuition effect, this is a really great blend to use for that. So if you have sandalwood oil, frankincense, copaiba, and myrrh. You can mix all of those together. You'd probably want to use a little less of the sandalwood and frankincense because they're more expensive and they're also very potent. And maybe a little more drops of the copaiba and the myrrh. And you can also just kind of, see how you like the smell. What I tell people to do is take an empty roll-on bottle or an empty bottle. You can actually take an empty essential oil bottle. Maybe if you have a bottle that you've used up, you can put a few other drops of essential oils in with that. I suggest about 15 drops per half ounce, but you can go up to 30 if you want it to be a little bit stronger for the aromatic effect. So that would be about 30 drops per half ounce of carrier oil. Put all of those into your bottle, and then once you have the different drops in your bottle, you just warm it like this in your hand. And that synergizes the oils together, and then you can add your carrier oil, and it will last up to 3 years if you use jojoba oil, the freshness and effectiveness. If you use things like sesame or grapeseed or almond oil, it may not last longer than like 6 months. So you can either add some jojoba to it or some vitamin E oil to that to make it last longer, or you can just use jojoba or coconut oil as your carrier. And those two are really wonderful for a natural preservative on their own. So they would keep your therapy oils fresh up to 3 years. So the other oils that I'm going to talk about in that blend, sandalwood is a pretty expensive oil, but it's really, really powerful. So you don't need very much of it. And it's also very mellow smelling, kind of like the copaiba balsam. So you can use sandalwood to help with opening up your third eye and kind of just helping you to be more connected to your spirit guides and grounded and in a meditative state. It also is really good for sleep and dreams, and it's been known to help people stop having nightmares if you put it on the back of your neck in a carrier oil before you go to sleep. A lot of people like to put sandalwood right on their third eye, and that's great. If you do that with the straight oil, you're probably going to use it up quite quickly, and it's a pretty expensive oil if you're getting the pure natural oil. There's another blend of sandalwood called Amyris, which is a little bit cheaper version. Doesn't have quite the same effects as the authentic sandalwood, but it does do a lot of the other effects, such as grounding and helping with breathing and things like that. But if you want the effects for the meditative state and helping with nightmares and insomnia and things, you want to get the pure sandalwood, not the Amyris sandalwood. Let's see. So the other oil, myrrh, that's in that is a really great anti-catarrh oil. And a lot of people probably don't know what that is, but it helps to break up mucus in the lungs. So if you have mucus that is very dry and not coming out, and like a rattly cough that won't go away, or a kind of a cough that just seems to be not ending, that's going on for a really long time, if you add some myrrh oil to a blend, it can really help with that in the physical application. And then on the emotional and spiritual level, myrrh can also help with processing trauma and different emotional challenges, and it's good for staying in the present moment. And it's also been used in churches to help people stay focused on church instead of what their neighbors next to them are doing. So that's a little secret piece of history. They burn myrrh in churches to keep people focused. So those are the 4 oils in that blend. And if you don't have one of the oils and you want to make a blend similar to this, just use what you have. You can also use other tree oils for making a grounding and support blend. Like cedar is a really nice one, and it's also very inexpensive. And I like spruce and fir just because they smell wonderful and they're good for the lungs as well. Some people use spruce for a pain relief oil too. So you would put that in a carrier oil and maybe rub it on your back or something. And these little bottles that are sitting here, the roll-ons, these are a 1/3 ounce. So I usually use about 20 drops of essential oil to make this size of bottle, and then the rest is just jojoba. So if you're going to mix together 4 different oils, you can do even amounts of each, or if you wanted to save a little money on your sandalwood and frankincense, like I was mentioning, you can use a few less drops of those, like maybe 3 drops of each of those and 7 or 8 drops of each of the other 2, until you have a total of 20 drops. And essential oils are very, very potent. They're much stronger than herbs. So let's say that you're having a cup of peppermint tea. That's an herbal tea with, the crushed, dried up little herbs. You would probably be using about a half teaspoon to a tablespoon of the crushed up herb in your cup of tea. If you were to use 1 drop of peppermint oil in a cup of tea, it would be like having 15 teaspoons of the crushed up herb. So you can see that it's a lot more potent when you use the essential oil than an herb. So you want to be very careful not to overdose on those things. I actually don't recommend drinking essential oils in tea or water unless you have had some sort of training or consultation with someone who is knowledgeable in essential oils, because it can actually start to do some damage to your digestive system. And a lot of people think differently, and that's fine, but that's just my opinion. So let's talk about some different oils that are good for immunity and breathing. I have had lung issues most of my life. I had pneumonia when I was 2, and so I've always had to be really careful of my lungs being protected and strong, and so I really like to use the Thieves Blend, which is a very old blend that the grave robbers made thousands of years ago for the Black Plague. There's a lot of companies making versions of that now. None of them invented it, just letting you know. The grave robbers did. They used it on a cloth. They would soak the cloth in these different oils, like rosemary, eucalyptus, cinnamon, clove, and lemon are the main ones that are talked about in this ancient recipe. And so they would soak these rags in that and carry it over their face, or tie it around their face when they would do their grave and body robbing. And that kept them from getting sick. So when they were caught, they gave up the recipe to have a little more lenient sentence than death, is what the story says. So nowadays, a lot of people are using this Thieves Blend in a carrier oil for applying to your body to help with symptoms of flus and colds, to aid in breathing and cut down on fevers and chills and body aches and things like that. The way you would do that is to put, I use about 12 to 15 drops of oil in a bottle this size to make the Thieves Blend. So my version of Thieves has frankincense added as well, because I think that a lot of people really love frankincense added, and I like to put it in there for our modern plague, which is cancers, because it's an anti-cancer oil. So the 5 original oils, eucalyptus, lemon, clove, cinnamon, and rosemary, plus frankincense, are in my version that I make of the Thieves, which I call 21st Century Thief, to not, get anybody upset about copyrights. And then I've spent the last couple years researching plagues, because I'm that kind of girl. And in my studies, I've found that there are a lot of different oils that could be added to this original Thieves Blend to help with our modern lifestyle. We are definitely living differently and doing different things each day than people were 2,000 years ago. So one of the main things that I added to this new blend that I just created and finished in the beginning of March was Oregano Oil, which is antimicrobial, antiviral, and antifungal. And a lot of people already know about oregano that maybe haven't heard about any other essential oils. So it can really help to support your immune system and help to combat foreign things in your body that you don't want. Some people gargle with it in water, like a drop or so in a little shot glass, and gargle with that and spit it out, and that will help if there's any bacteria or virus living in the back of your throat. And some people just take it with a dropper, and it's in olive oil. They sell it at the store like that, just oregano oil. I like to add it to this combination of the original Thieves oils with a few other oils that I think support our current situation. So the other oils that I've added in are coriander, which is really powerful for supporting the adrenals and thyroid. And it's also very good for digestion and circulation. And I just love cilantro anyway, so using coriander oil, which is cilantro in oil form, is a wonderful way to get that into your body. It's also oil and herb that can help with heavy metal detoxing. I started using it in my diet, like in eating it in my salads and things, when I was having some mercury fillings removed about 10 years ago. My naturopath suggested that I eat that to help the heavy metals process out of my body safely. And so I have never stopped eating it. I just love it, and I know it's good for me. So I added it to this blend to help with that. And the fact that it's so good for your adrenals and your thyroid, a lot of people are just living such fast-paced lives. They don't have time to slow down. And if you have already been doing that for a long time, even if you're slowing down right now, it can help you to stay balanced, the coriander oil, if you use it in a massage oil, and support your adrenals. So you don't have adrenal fatigue, which can happen after a long time, even if you do slow down. So it just helps with support. A few other oils that I like to use for boosting your body's natural defenses are ginger, which is a lung support oil and digestive support oil, but it's also very good for boosting immunity, and some people even use it in blends for broken and injured bones. You can put it in a massage oil and apply it to the area, and it supports healing. And it's also an aphrodisiac. Oh my. So ginger is pretty wonderful. And a few of the other oils that I like to use in this blend are orange. Orange has been used in hospitals in Europe for years in a diffusing method to keep germs out of the air. And orange smells wonderful, and it's uplifting and really great for an antidepressant. And it also helps all of the other very strong smelling oils that I mix in this blend to smell more balanced, and it's just a lovely oil. So let me think, what are the other ones? We have coriander, ginger, oregano, orange. Cypress is another oil that I have researched and found has been used in several plagues throughout history for what they've called mystery coughs or mystery lung illnesses. And Cypress was used on infants' t-shirts when they couldn't figure out what else was wrong and they didn't have a lot of medical supplies. People would take these little t-shirts and soak them in the cypress oil and use them to help heal babies. I wouldn't suggest doing that now. That sounds a little bit strong, but it is part of the research that I did. And cypress is in this new armor upgrade, is what I call it, Thieves Blend, to help with supporting our modern functions of our body. So cypress oil can really help with those mystery coughs. It has been used for whooping cough as well. And then the last oil, let me just make sure I've got all of the oils covered here. We've got frankincense, rosemary, eucalyptus, cinnamon, clove, orange, cypress, copaiba, which we've already talked about, but I'll talk about that a little bit more to do with the lungs. So copaiba is the one that I talked about a minute ago that was similar to Palo Santo for energetic protection. So on an energetic level, it can help protect you from other people's energies and drama in the way that it just helps you to stay in your own space and not pick up on other people's moods or just them trying to shoot their energy all over. Maybe if they don't even know they're doing that, but people have, gotten a little erratic and emotional at points, and they tend to want other people to share that with them. Well, this helps, the Copaiba helps to not have to share other people's erraticness and mood swings and just stay in your own energy. And then on the physical lung support level, it's COPD support oil, which is a extreme lung disease or illness, whatever you want to call it. People who have maybe smoked for a long time in their life or worked in an industry where they've breathed in something that's damaged their lungs. And so it can help if you have like shortness of breath or it hurts to breathe. The COPD is what I was talking about. Sorry, I don't know the whole name of that right now. I'll look that up later. And it's also a pregnancy safe oil, the Copaiba balsam. So you don't have to worry about whether or not you're pregnant if you want to use that for lung support. And it is also a pain relief oil. So I have used it in custom blends for people for pain with pregnancy or lung problems with pregnancy, but you can use it anytime for spiritual support, pain relief, lung support, any of those things. It's a pretty wonderful oil, and it smells really, really mellow. I mean, it almost has no smell. It's so subtle, which is great if you are not into having a strong smell. And I do have some students that are very sensitive to scents, that have either autism or Down syndrome and just don't really want a lot of strong scents around them, that have all been very accepting of the 4-tree oil blend, the Sasquatch I was talking about. So if you have some of those oils and you use them in the amounts that I was talking about and on the back of the neck, that is a great way for people who don't really like strong scents at all to be able to get an effect on their mental health and protection from picking up on other people's stuff, which a lot of us do. And especially people with autism or Down syndrome, they seem to be more empathic than other people usually. So if you're applying this blend that I was talking about for immunity, the new version of Thieves that I've kind of recreated from the ancient recipe, you can apply it to your chest. I do it about 2 or 3 times a day right now just to support my lungs being strong. And I also put it on my spine and my feet a few times a week, and that helps with a cumulative immunity support. So you don't have to do it 3 times a day to get that continued support for immunity, but if you do it about 5 times a week, doesn't matter what time of day, just you can use the roll-on and roll it on your entire spine from your neck to your tailbone, or you can put it on your hand and apply it, or you can make a little bottle like one of these. This is just a little bottle with no roll-on. Any kind of bottle works to mix your own oil in. You just want to make sure it's empty and clean, or it's an empty essential oil bottle that has just recently been emptied so it's still fresh and pure. And if you apply it to your spine and then all over the bottoms of your feet, that will actually take the oil in through your spine and send it out to your entire body through your nervous system. And it'll take it up from your reflexology points in your feet and send it through your whole body for immunity boost. So you don't have to rub it all over your entire body to get the effects, is what I'm saying. If for some reason you can't reach your entire spine, rub it where you can. If you have a friend or partner to help with rubbing it in the middle where you can't reach or something a few times a week, that's great. You're going to get even more effects that way. There is a different point on your spine connected to each part of your body. So if you're rubbing it on, say, the top of your neck like we were talking about, that affects everything in your head. If you apply oils to the top 6 inches of your spine, you're going to be supporting your head and your arms and shoulders and hands. If you're working on something like maybe arm pain or something, you can rub oils on your arms, and you could also rub them on the top 6 inches of your spine to support the arms. So there's different ways that the oils go into your body and work. And The best way is to put it on the area that you're having a problem with or that you want to support. Anytime you have a mental health issue or you want support for the brain, you want to put them on the back of your neck about every 6 hours for continued benefits. And if you did that in the morning, the afternoon, and at bedtime, you'd pretty much have continual support in that way. If you have a migraine or something, you would want to put the oils on the back of your neck, behind your ears, and on your temples. And then that would help with the migraine in a few minutes and maybe last 2 to 6 hours, depending on the intensity. And I have other classes and videos that talk about many different applications of essential oils. Today we're just talking about how to make a simple massage oil. So if you wanted to make something like the immunity oil that I was talking about, that also helps with coughs and colds and general support throughout your body, you'd use about 15 drops total of oils in here, whichever ones you have. And if you only have a few of them, that's fine. Just make sure you don't use more than 15 drops total, and the rest can be the carrier oil. And then for a blend that's more for just mental health support and protection, you can use up to 20 drops. The ones that have things like clove and cinnamon and oregano, they can be a little bit hot or skin sensitive if you use too much. So you want to be careful not to put so many drops of that in there that it burns your skin. And it's not going to burn your skin to the point that you're damaged in your skin. I'm just saying that it might feel hot on your skin. If you're using them straight, that definitely could do some damage if you're not careful. But I always recommend using the essential oils in a carrier oil for application to the body. And if you're wanting to make a 1 ounce massage oil like this one here, this is actually a clove oil. You want to use about 30 to 40 drops of essential oil total, and then the other remainder of the bottle is going to be the carrier oil. And then that would be a nice size to use maybe for your whole family for 6 months. They do last quite a while. And once again, you don't have to have every single thing that I'm talking about. You can just have a few of the oils and mix them together. And if you don't want to learn to make any of this, you know where to find the oils that I'm talking about. So thanks for joining us today, and I hope you join us again and learn more about essential oils. Thank you.